So among the slate of winter 2019 anime is yet another entrance to the Isekai genre, called The Rising of the Shield Hero. As per my stated routine, I waited until the first 3 episodes had aired so I could binge them all at once. I was not particularly excited to watch another Isekai show, since the genre's track record is straight up depressing. But much to my surprise, The Rising of the Shield Hero showed some glimmer of promise. I mean, so did Sword Art Online, but hey, I wouldn't still be watching anime unless I was at least occasionally optimistic. So I figured today I'd go ahead and discuss the first 3 episodes of The Rising of the Shield Hero, and maybe make a Hail Mary prediction as to whether it will sink or swim. But first, 3 disclaimers. 1. From here on out, I will refer to The Rising of the Shield Hero as just The Rising Shield Hero. 2. Mild spoiler alert for the first 3 episodes. I'll avoid spoiling major twists or important story elements without warning you first. 3. If you like isekai shows, go ahead and hit the dislike button. While you're at it, start listing your favorite 4-letter words in the comments, because near the end of this video, I'm going to briefly talk about the genre's track record. Spoiler alert, it's bad. Like, really bad. Okay, with the disclaimers out of the way, let me briefly define what the isekai genre is for those who don't know. The isekai genre is the genre writers turn to when they have no inspiration and a lot of debt. Kidding, I'm kidding. Isekai anime are all about people in our world who get sent to an alternative world. In most cases, though certainly not all, the alternative world is a fantasy world. Also, a decent number of isekai shows involve video game elements, like heads-up displays, inventories, skills, a crappy story. Probably 3 of the most well-known examples of isekai anime are Sword Art Online, Overlord, and Konosuba. Now, it's time to talk about The Rising Shield Hero. As I mentioned up top, 3 episodes have aired as of the writing of the script, and hopefully the posting of this video. The episodes are your standard-length 24-minute affairs, with the exception of the first episode. The first episode is 46 minutes long. This isn't a big deal if the episode is good, but it's not. Well, mostly. Okay, so here's the breakdown. We're introduced to Naofumi, the protagonist in our world. He opens a book and gets sucked into a fantasy world. Hey, props for an original delivery mechanism. Of course, it turns out he was actually summoned, along with 3 other individuals, by wizards or whatever from the fantasy world. So I'm taking my props back and replacing it with a... In this new world, there is an encroaching danger in the form of waves. I won't pretend to understand anything about this, but I assume they'll talk about it in detail later in the series. All we know is that these waves are bad, so the 4 Japanese folks were summoned as heroes. Heroes which are prophesied to be the only ones strong enough to defeat the waves. Because having 4 chosen ones is less cliche than just having 1. The rest of the episode is devoted to setting up Naofumi's motivation in the most predictable and drawn-out way possible. Now, I'm going to spoil what I thought was an incredibly obvious twist, but if you want to walk into the series totally blind, skip to the time you see on the screen. First, Naofumi's a shield hero, and everyone makes fun of him for it. I guess no one there has ever played an MMORPG, because tanks are kind of the crux of much of the team play. I say that, but all of the other 3 Japanese fellows are gamers, so... The shield hero, Naofumi, has no luck finding anyone to help him become strong. At least, not until he meets this girl. She helps him for a while, but then she robs him for all he's worth, and sullies his good name by claiming he attempted to rape her. This would have been an alright twist, except it took me all of 30 seconds to realize that she was going to betray him, so I had to suffer through just under 20 minutes of screen time knowing the outcome. Poor me, I know. By the way, this kingdom has precisely nothing in terms of a criminal justice system. I could spend 5 minutes complaining about this rape accusation. Suffice to say, it does not work on any logical level. Also, it kind of reminds me of the Me Too move, so all of those first 35 minutes serve 3 major purposes. First, they break Naofumi as a person, transforming him into a dark, brooding character. Second, they make us feel sympathy for Naofumi as an abused underdog. Third, they provide his motivations. And that last point should not be overlooked. Most protagonists in isekai shows are severely lacking in the motivation department. That's actually one of the few things Season 1 of SAO does right. The rest of Episode 1 introduces us to the new Naofumi. The Naofumi with the drive and motivation to become the best shield hero possible. Most of this episode was the equivalent of eating a cake made of Play-Doh with a straw, while riding a horse in the middle of the ocean. It's a disappointment no matter how you look at it. But then, near the end of the episode, the horse transforms into a narwhal, and you're like, hey, this might actually go somewhere. Then Episode 2 starts. And like that, you're surfing on the back of your narwhal. The cake is your preferred flavor, and the sky overhead has never seemed so blue and warm. But you have this nagging feeling in the back of your head, like something about this still isn't quite right. Oh crap, I left the stove on! I'm going to say it up top. Episode 2 is awesome. In it, we are introduced to the second lead character, a raccoon girl named Raphtalia. Now, yeah, she is technically his slave, but we're going to ignore that for now. What I like about this episode is the dynamic between Naofumi and Raphtalia. They take on this father-daughter relationship, where the cold Naofumi teaches Raphtalia about the harshness of life. We get a sense of what Naofumi and Raphtalia are truly like based on their interactions with each other. And this episode provides Raphtalia with a good motivation to help the shield hero. I won't go into any more detail in case you do watch The Rising Shield Hero, but suffice it to say, this episode is stellar. Perfect? No. But it isn't too far off. Episode 3 gives us a Naofumi and Raphtalia who have developed genuine strength, skill, and teamwork. It also sets up a subplot that I'm not exactly comfortable with, but I'll come back to that. Again, the episode is benefited by, and focuses on, our two leads and their relationship. In this episode, the dynamic has slightly shifted, since Raphtalia's personality has slightly altered, among other things. It doesn't make sense offhand that someone can go from a 10-year-old to a young adult in just a week, but there is a reason, and they'll probably address it in the next 2 episodes. Now, I'm still perturbed by the fact that her personality changed, but whatever. Episode 3 gives us our first taste of battle against the Wave. Now, the fighting isn't spectacular, but it serves its purpose. I've seen a lot worse. What we get to see is Naofumi's unyielding will, his pure heart, and some intelligent uses of his abilities. I'll leave it at that to avoid totally ruining the episode for you. So, the Rising Shield Hero's first 3 episodes show promise. Now, yes, most of the first episode is garbage, but it seems to me that much of that can be chalked up to Naofumi being a naive, stupid schmuck. As soon as he transforms as a character, I found the show considerably more interesting. And though I know I've harped on it plenty, he and Raphtalia as a duo make for a pair of great leads. Frankly, there were moments in episode 2 that reminded me of Satoru and Kaio's dynamic from Erased. So how does the Rising Shield Hero stack up to the rest of the genre so far? In short, good. Now, that's not because I think the Rising Shield Hero is stellar or anything. It's just that the competition are all in the hospital with third-degree burns because they're all dumpster fires. If you put a gun to my head and told me to list my top 3 isekai, I'd tell you to pull the trigger. But if you put a gun to my head and I had the will to live, I'd say Overlord, Drifters, yes, I'm counting it as an isekai, fight me, and That Time I Got Reincarnated as a Slime are the 3 best. Problem Children Are Coming from Another World is also good, at least for the first half. And the first arc of SAO Season 1, while a mess, squeaks by as watchable. But everything else that I've seen is awful. No, Konosuba is not good, nor is it funny. Fight me. No Game No Life is kinda alright, except for the overuse of fanservice, which I feel ruins the show. Fight me. ReZero has some good stuff, but Subaru is such an enormous moron that he completely ruins the entirety of that show. Sorry, Rem. Fight me. Log Horizon is almost good, but it has no stakes, and it's kinda boring. Come on! Fight! Actually, I don't care about this one. What was the point of this? Right. Because the competition is practically non-existent, the Rising Shield Hero shows the potential to be one of the best in the genre. Now, it is still way too early to say for certain. And that brings me to the last point of this video. So now, I'm going to try to predict how this 24-episode season will end up, quality-wise, based on 3 measly episodes. Now, my prediction will most certainly be wrong. Based on what I've seen, I think the Rising Shield Hero will stay alright until either episode 11 or episode 14. Yes, I just picked those numbers at random. But the point is, I feel the middle of the season will begin to suffer for one of 3 possible reasons. Reason number 1. Naofumi, prior to his transformation into an anti-hero but not really anti-hero, was the most naive, talkative idiot on screen. One possible direction for Naofumi's character arc is that he'll begin to transform back into who he used to be. This is more or less what happened in the first arc of SAO. The dark brooding Kirito was interesting. The love-struck Kirito made me want to gouge my eyes out. Reason number 2. Episode 3 sets up this idea that Raphtalia will fall in love with Naofumi. I would give anything for this not to happen because I feel the father-daughter dynamic they had was incredible. Taking that father-daughter dynamic and transforming it into a romance could ruin the show, at least for me. Again, refer to the first arc of Sword Art Online. Also, unless I'm mistaken, Raftalia still has the mind of a 10-year-old, regardless of how much she's physically grown. And that, my friends, would make any romance between these two straight up creepy. Not that that's ever stopped the Japanese entertainment industry before. Reason number 3. The first episode was poorly written and poorly executed. Apart from the predictable plot twist, every character was a moron, and everything was overexplained in dialogue. While the following 2 episodes were pretty good, I can't imagine that the first episode could be so poorly written and the rest of the show remain untainted. Call this reason a lack of faith. You remember that metaphor I mentioned with the cake and the narwhal? Well, in that metaphor, this is the straw. Sure, your cake is now tasty, and your horse is now a swimming unicorn, but your only utensil is still just a straw. This tiny inconsistency makes you realize it's all something your oxygen-deprived brain dreamed up to make your drowning less traumatizing. Slowly, you begin to drift to sleep in the quiet depths of the ocean, while images of narwhals and cake consume you. And then you get nuked! So, in summary, the Rise and Shield Hero has started strong. I genuinely like most of the first 3 episodes, and I hope the series stays promising. But I fully expect for the show to fall apart around episode 11 or 14. So, when I'm inevitably wrong about that, leave a comment calling me whatever synonym for idiot you prefer, and be sure to subscribe to see more videos of me making a fool of myself. Thanks, guys!